Hi my loves, I'm Anita Manager and welcome back to Sip and Simmer. We all have our concerns and worries in life, but during the next 30 minutes, you're mine. And we're here to have a drink, a snack, and a good time. During this episode, we will be making Pennsylvania Dutch soft pretzels and a cheese sauce to go along with them. And we'll be making Moscato lemonade. If you would like to contribute to the production of Sip and Simmer, my Venmo is Anita_Manager, and all the proceeds from that go to all of the ingredients, which can be a little pricey, for the show and all of the snacks and drinks that we make together. During this episode, we have Miss Sienna Rose back with us again. I also have a little bit more of exciting news. I will be hosting a family-friendly drag story time this Saturday, April 18th at 11 a.m. You can watch me live if you go and like and follow the Drag Storytime Connecticut on Facebook. Troop429 will post the page here in the comments right now. So go like the page and join me on Facebook Live Saturday at 11 a.m. And now, Anita Minute. We have a lot of time to ourselves right now, so I've been doing a lot of thinking. That's why it's been a little emotional and spiritual, kind of, I guess. So today I was thinking about success, and we all want success in our lives, but for many of us, we don't know what success looks like. Every person has their own path to success and their own meaning for what finishes the path. We all tend to chase money or fame, power, relationships, and there's 1,000 other things I can go on listing. But we have to pause and ask ourselves sometimes, what actually are these things adding to our own success stories? If we don't answer that question, we can end up choosing the wrong path or pursuing somebody else's version of success. We get to the peak only just to discover we climbed the wrong mountain, and that would really suck. We achieve certain goals only to realize that they're somebody else's instead of our own. We can start to think that the only real success story is about building wealth and the perfect relationship, or the house, or the car, or just gaining a large following on social media. None of these things or people are wrong, but if it's for the right person. But it's not right for everyone, or even most people. We just get caught up in what we see on TV and in movies, online. And of course, I'm not trying to knock anybody down who wants these things, but there's a lot of thought that has to go behind what you actually want in life. And it's important to reevaluate what's important to you and what your goals are versus what you've been taught to think that they are. For me, I want to make as many people as I can through my drag, including this show. I want to finally open my hair salon and be able to bring that same happiness to people in my day-to-day life also. You see, to me, success is about making the people around me feel successful and feel happy and beautiful and happy every time they see me. It may be superficial for some people, but you can start to build confidence if you work on the outside and work your way in. I don't know, that's just the way I define success, and that's what's been on my mind recently. So, before we invite Sienna over, I'm gonna get our drink started. I've got my jumbo shaker here ready, and tonight we are going to be making a Moscato lemonade. Now, this is delicious, and I know I say that about all the drinks that we make, but this one's so good that instead of doubling it, I tripled it. So, like I say, do as I say, not as I do. Alright, so here I have 2 ounces of pink Moscato, and then I have 4 ounces of lemonade. You can use pink lemonade, but I find it to be a lot sweeter. If you do use pink lemonade, or if it's all that you have at home, just make sure you put like a tablespoon or 2 of fresh lemon juice just to add a little bit of tartness to it. Alright, and now for the kick, an ounce of vodka. And I haven't been working on my math apparently because I quadrupled the vodka. So, it'll be a good show on it. And everything tonight we're actually going to be cooking live, so you can see it from start to finish, because these pretzels that taste exactly like that pretzel place in the mall that I'm not going to say their name, these taste exactly like that, and they take like a half hour to make, so make sure, well, about half hour. Alright, so I'm going to shake this up. And tonight we're not going to be using any fancy glasses. I'm just going to use my regular water glasses because I want to be able to drink as much of this as I can. Alright, so I'm just going to open this up and I'm going to pour some of the ice along with it. Because I did make extra, I lied. There's no extra. We're just gonna have to drink it all. All right, so now that I have our drinks ready, I'm gonna invite Miss Sienna Rose on.
Hey all you cool cats and kittens, I'm back again.
Oh boy.
What? I love that saying. I'm gonna say it on all my shows now.
Okay. Well, welcome Sienna Rose and her handy new slogan. I don't know.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So where can everybody find you on your social media?
You guys can find me at Sienna Rose Official on Instagram and also on Venmo. Ding.
All right. So to my inspirational little Anita minute today, let's cheers to that one.
Let's cheers.
Put a lot of thought into that.
You did. It was really good.
Oh, that's... I'm not going to say,
I love
that's
that.
good. This is fantastic, is what it is.
I love it.
You want to make these. They are so good. And they're super refreshing. There's a lot of alcohol in that.
I can taste it. Just how I like it.
Okay, so today, because we are going to be making everything live on show, except for the proofing, because we don't have an hour to sit around watching dough rise.
I mean, we do, but...
So, I've got my stand mixer here, and I have, I have 2 cups of water that is already prepped with half a cup of brown sugar, a teaspoon and a half of vanilla, and 2 teaspoons of yeast. So that's already prepped on the side for me because that also takes about 10 minutes and I didn't want to wait. So I have my 5 cups of flour and I have a teaspoon of salt. So like I always say when you're using yeast, I like to pour the salt on top of the flour so that way when I pour it into the mixer, the salt is on the bottom because salt.
I had a day off, I don't remember anything.
Salt will kill the yeast.
Okay.
And then it won't rise.
Right.
So I'm gonna pour this right into the mixer. There we go. And then I'm going to take my water with my yeast, my sugar, and my vanilla. And I'm gonna pour that in there. And this is gonna be our favorite recipe because it takes the least amount of work.
It's already my favorite.
For the best results. I'm telling you, these taste exactly like the mall pretzels.
I'm excited.
Alright, so I'm just gonna turn this on.
Hi, Louie.
Today we had a social distance friend over.
Oh.
It was nice. He stayed in the driveway. We got to wave, have a drink together.
Cute.
Thanks for stopping by, Louie. Alright, so I'm just going to scoop my flour down. So, how are you? How was your day off from the show?
Oh, it was lovely. I mean, she still put me to work. When I'm not in front of the camera, I'm still behind the camera working behind the scenes. So, it really wasn't a day off, but I didn't have to do all of this, because this is a lot. But it was nice and lovely. But I'm happy to be back with you and with all of you.
So, you have an accent?
Do I have an accent tonight?
Is that new?
Maybe.
Okay, Madonna.
Oh, wow. You said my trigger word.
Okay, so this has come together. So this is a super sticky dough. And you want to make sure that you really flour your surface. So would you mind just grabbing me a little bit of extra flour?
Extra flour? Of course. It's right over here.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to knead this. But like I said, this is the easiest dough I have ever made. I'm going to knead it like 3 or 4 times. Here, I'll take that.
Okay.
I'm just going to sprinkle some over here. I'm going to get some on my hands. And I'm going to get this out. Okay. anybody can have this beautiful blonde hair, Kelly. It takes $200 and an order form.
It does.
Okay, so I'm literally just gonna knead this until I get about half a cup more of flour incorporated into it.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys can hear that the oven just dinged because
I think it's
said,
ready.
I'm so excited to be able to do a recipe from start to finish on the show. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is once this is a smooth ball, I'm going to put this into a grease-lined bowl, and for a lot of my doughs that have yeast in it, my trick for raising them, I have two options. One, if I want it to be a little bit more consistent, I don't need that. If I want it to be a little bit more consistent, what I'll do is I will put the oven on 100 degrees Fahrenheit for our international friends. And then I will put the dough in the oven in the bowl, and then I'll turn the oven off. So that's like a makeshift proving drawer.
Cute.
Because proving drawers are about 90 degrees. And once you open the door, it lets out some of the heat. So it'll roughly be 90 degrees. It's not perfect, but it works really well. And it's a great way to speed up the proving process.
Oh,
so that way you don't have to wait as long. Okay, so this is perfect. I'm going to switch this in the bowl with the already made dough.
Look at that.
So here we have this.
Oh, wow.
So as you can tell, it about doubles in size.
The dough gets a little thicker. Miss me? I missed this.
Okay, so I'm going to turn this out into our clean work surface. Nope, that's a lie. I'm going to turn it out onto the already floured work surface.
And no, Jasmine, I'm not wearing nails tonight because she's going to put me to work. I'm going to be twisting pretzels, and I want to make sure that none of my nails go into the food. Even though none of them did the other day. I just want to make sure.
I think she said it was a ring.
Nails, ring. No, she called me out about my nails too.
Oh.
They were all on my fingers, just like my rings. None of them left my fingertips, Jasmine.
Okay,
So
I'm
thanks for your concern.
Okay. I'm just gonna wash my hands really quick because I have dough under my nails.
We know how much you hate that.
I do. So, do you remember what you do when you turn dough out of the bowl from proving?
You need it.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know why?
To release the gases in it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner. Look at that.
Yes.
Okay. So, if you wouldn't mind, just get a little bit of flour on your hands.
Okay.
And then you don't really have to go crazy. You're just doing it to
wasn't
smash
going
it down.
to. Okay. Get a little bit more. And we're just kneading the gas out of the bread. Like so. Oh. I think I'm doing this right. I'm not being yelled at yet.
Well,
so
you can't
see.
ruin it, so.
Watch me ruin it.
Okay. So, now that's perfect.
Okay,
That's all
cool.
you want.
Cool.
Okay, so the main purpose of this again is just to release some of the gases from the dough. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I am going to take 4 cups of hot water, put it on my stove, and I'm going to turn that on because pretzels are like bagels where you want to boil them before you bake them, and that's what gives them that chewy, gooey, like bagely, pretzely, delicious inside.
So they're nice and thick.
Yeah, exactly, nice and thick. Okay, so while this heats up, I'm gonna cut this into 8 pieces.
Okay. And if you're an OG watcher, you know that every time either one of us says thick, you take a drink if you're drinking along with us. Have a cocktail or a mocktail, if you will.
Okay, so I just like to score the top just to make sure that I have pretty even pieces, and then I'm just gonna press my knife straight through. After you get this cut, the inside is going to be super sticky, so you want to make sure you have a little bit extra flour on hand. But don't overcoat them because we are going to be putting 3 tablespoons of baking powder in the boiling water. And what that's going to do is that's what's going to create that outer chew to a pretzel, if that makes sense.
The crunch?
So there's hard pretzels and there's soft pretzels.
Okay.
So these are soft pretzels.
Got
so
it.
they're like chewy on the inside, and they have a little bit of like a crust.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Okay. So I'm gonna get these out of the way,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna show you how to twist the pretzel. Now the fun part is I just learned how to twist the pretzel after I made the first batch.
Right.
So what we're gonna do is I'm just going to
So now you get to apply what you've learned,
exactly
like
Okay.
school.
So get a little bit of flour on your hands,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna roll it out.
Okay.
And then stretch it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And now, what I didn't do was in the center of the pretzel, I
You
didn't
twist
do
it.
2 twists. So you're gonna twist it once, twist it again, and then you have that pretzel knot. See?
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's there.
It's close. It's not that bad. All right, why don't you try one?
Okay.
All right,
Get some flour on my hands.
Right.
Okay, and I'm just roll
If
it
you make it a
out.
little bit longer than I did, you
Mhm.
should be able to get a little bit more hole in the pretzel.
Oh, you want more hole? Got it.
A little bit more breathing space, we'll say.
Okay.
If you spin it like this, you'll be able to stretch the dough out a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
And then you make a U, and then 2 twists.
This doesn't work for me. It's not working. I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
Stick to my classic rolling method.
Alright, and it's a good thing that we started this water in the kettle, so that way it will boil a little bit quicker.
Mm-hmm. Oh! Wow.
So after we get these all twisted, we're gonna boil them for 2 minutes on each side.
2 minutes on each side.
Right. So we're almost done with these.
Well, you're almost done with these. I'm still working on my first one. This isn't as easy as it looks.
It doesn't have to be perfect. They're
But you
homemade.
know me. I know. I like things to be perfect.
Okay, so my water is just about to come to a boil.
Mhm.
So I've got my 4 cups of water, and then I'm gonna put in 3 tablespoons of baking powder.
Okay, that was this. Twist. 2 twists?
Yep, they don't have to be perfect.
I want them to be!
They're gonna taste great, and that's all that really matters. And that's the fun about making stuff at home.
Well, no, I'm gonna get this.
2, and then 1 goes over, 1 goes under.
Well, both of mine went over.
All
So
right.
that's how I want it
So
to
my
go.
water is hot enough over here, so I'm gonna drop in 4 to begin with. Yep, that water is piping hot. I just dipped my finger in it to check.
There's that
Okay.
thing.
So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna wait for them to pop up. If they don't pop up, grab a spatula and just give them a little nudge.
Okay,
All right?
cute.
Because you don't want them to boil for too long, because then they're gonna really start to cook in the water, and that's not what you want. Okay. We're almost there. Thank you, Christine. They're natural.
Naturally expensive.
Naturally hers. Give credit where credit's due, right?
Right, mm-hmm.
These are looking a little bit more like garlic knots, but the important thing is that they're gonna taste delicious.
It's a lot of work. This is easy.
You've been doing, how many did you do? 2?
One. The dough is floppy. I don't know how to make it not floppy. Help.
Alright, so what you're gonna do is after you've got these going,
Uh-huh.
you're gonna do 2 minutes on each side, right?
Yep, and then you flip them.
And then, well, 2 minutes on each side is flipping them.
Well,
Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna put them on a cookie sheet with a little cooking spray,
mm-hmm.
and then you're gonna bake them at 500 for 7 to 10 minutes. I had some that I did for, I have some that I did for like 6 minutes, and some that I did for like 11 minutes. So once you hit that like 6-minute mark, I would start to pay attention to them.
Okay.
When they come out of the oven, they should just be like a beautiful like golden like toasted butter.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
You don't want brown. These are not hard pretzels.
Mm-hmm.
you want to make sure that they are not burning. And because of the cooking spray, they can burn.
Mm-hmm.
So you just want to make sure that you pay attention. I think that's what honestly, I can't even remember what a pretzel looks like.
That's close enough.
Alright. So
It's really all the taste.
I'm going to flip these. I just
Okay.
need to grab the cooking spray to spray my pan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you flip them, they should look like an underdone bagel.
Okay.
So that makes it like a wet... Okay, so you have a bagel that you've already purchased, right?
Yes.
And you leave it in a plastic bag, and the condensation makes it wet, that gooey outside.
Sure.
I think too much, I guess.
I've never really like stopped and noticed the bagel bag. I just devour the bagel.
I notice everything.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna...
Mm-hmm. You gotta catch up, girl. You're way behind.
My goodness.
So good. It's light and refreshing.
Okay, so I'm gonna get this over here.
Okay.
And I'm gonna pull these out and put them on the tray. I don't know if it's been 4 minutes, but we're close
fine.
enough. This is also cool that to do this with kids because they can make their own shapes and stuff. I think that would be cute. Mainly because I'm embarrassed that I don't know what a pretzel looks like. Okay, and don't worry about the water. When you put it in the oven, it'll just evaporate. And you can get all of these on one cookie sheet, which is nice. Okay, so for the cheese sauce, we'll talk about it before we make it.
Okay.
For the cheese sauce, you're going to be using butter, flour, milk, cheddar, and a little bit of hot sauce. Now with the flour and the butter, you're going to be making a roux. And all a roux is just equal parts butter and flour.
Okay.
And it's really important to know that if you're going to be doing any cooking in the kitchen, because there's 5 mother sauces.
Hold on. What?
They're called the mother sauces, I think.
Okay.
And they are a bechamel, a balut or something, an espagnole, tomato sauce, and a hollandaise. Now, all of these sauces, you start with a roux, except for a hollandaise, which is egg yolk.
Right. Naturally.
So that's my tidbit of knowledge for today.
Okay.
So it's important to know how to make this. So it's super important to start with unsalted butter because you will be adding salt to it later. 9 times out of 10 if a recipe calls for unsalted butter, I ignore it. But when you're making a roux, it's important to not have too much salt because it will change the consistency.
Oh.
Make sense?
It does.
Okay.
And you know what also makes sense? Jennifer brought up a really great point. Instead of making, if you are like me and you can't make them into pretzel shapes, just make pretzel bites. Thank you so much for that, Jennifer.
That's a great idea.
That is.
I mean, I wish I thought about it. You know what I did think about that I'm really upset?
What?
I wish we had leftover hot dogs from the show yesterday. Wrapping these pretzels around a hot dog.
Yes.
That would have been fantastic. Okay, so you're going to start making our cheese sauce
Yes,
while
I am.
finish these guys over here.
Okay. So we're going to put everything into...
Nope.
No, we are not.
I mean, yes, the
Well,
pot.
Yes.
But we are only putting the butter and the flour.
Okay. So we have butter.
Yep.
And this is 1/4 of a cup of butter.
Yep.
Okay. And this is 1/4 of a cup of flour.
Perfect.
Okay, right into the pot. Whoop.
It's the back.
I am flammable. I can move it, okay?
Okay, so you're going to want to do this on like a medium heat. And you're going to want to make sure that you have something that you can stir the butter with to incorporate the flour and the butter. You want to make sure that it kind of just looks like wet sand before you start doing anything else to it.
Okay.
Alright, so I think these are looking pretty good. And don't you worry about how they look because they're going to taste great. When you're putting these on the cookie sheet, you don't have to go crazy about placement because they're not really going to grow that much. They'll grow, I mean, like a centimeter or 2. Okay. So, I'm gonna get these into the oven, like I said. The oven's at 500, and we're gonna start to check them at 6 or 7 minutes.
Sounds good to me, girl.
How's that butter doing? Is it all melted yet?
Not yet. It's getting there. We're getting there. Can't rush perfection.
Okay. Alright, so while you're doing that, hold on. I don't know how you guys set timers at your house, but this is how I do it. Alexa!
Oh, wow.
Set a timer for 6 minutes.
6 minutes, starting now.
Okay, and I think we are there with the melted butter.
I love having a digital assistant. Okay, so just pull it off the heat for me and give it a good stir. Alright, so now it's looking perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start to incorporate 2 cups of milk. So you want to make sure that you really do this slowly.
Okay.
So you want to pour in like a drop.
Just a little drop?
Let me see.
A little,
A little bit more than that.
okay. Well, that was a drop.
Alright, that's good.
So a drop and a half.
So you're going to make sure that that is completely incorporated before you put that back onto the heat. And what that's going to do is it's going to start to allow...
The whole milk or just that little drop?
That little drop.
Okay.
Alright, so that's incorporated.
Yeah.
And it's starting to get a little pasty. So you're going to put it back on the heat and you're going to add double that amount of milk.
So, okay, so... 1, 2, 3, like that?
Yep.
Perfect.
And then you're going to incorporate that. And then you're going to add double the amount of that milk.
Oh, wow.
You have to wait until it's completely incorporated.
Okay. I'm waiting.
So the important part about
I'm
this is
incorporating.
because you want to make sure that the roux is done correctly. Otherwise, it's going to be a curdled cheese sauce, which will taste fine, but it'll look absolutely disgusting.
As long as it tastes fine, I'll put it in my
with the
mouth.
milk.
Okay. So double that last.
Yep.
So, ba, 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 ba.
Perfect.
Do you like my measuring skills? Ba, 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 ba.
It's like a bartender, but drunk.
Yes, actually.
I have a digital assistant. I have a sous chef. This is great. I can get used to this.
I was making sure you weren't about to call me that A word. Assistant.
Oh. I was like, this is a family program. Okay, so keep on going with the milk. Once the bottom is dry is when you want to keep on adding the milk. So while you're doing that, I'm testing your physical skills with this because
girl,
your
I can't
arm's
do 2
getting
things
tired.
at once. You know that.
And now I'm gonna test her mind. Okay, so tonight we are going to play a trivia game. I feel like you're gonna do very well.
I hope so.
I set you up for failure the other day with
You
Madonna.
really did.
I did it on purpose. I couldn't contain myself.
Because that was the one that I knew.
I know.
Surprisingly.
Okay, so tonight our trivia is based on LGBT movie classics.
Okay, I might be able to do this.
I think you'll do well.
I really hope so.
Okay, so I don't know how many of you were watching TV today. The Wizard of Oz was on.
Oh, I love that movie.
It's a great movie.
It is.
It is literally one of the most iconic gay films ever without a gay person in it. So, is there a gay character?
I mean, Judy wasn't gay, but Judy is the gay character.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Well, yes.
Okay. So, everybody knows who Dorothy's aunt is, right?
Auntie M.
Right. What's her uncle's name?
Mother.
Right?
He doesn't have a name.
He
does.
does.
Is he referred to by name in the film?
Yes, multiple times.
Well, if she's Auntie M, I'm gonna go with Uncle.
Okay, we're halfway there.
Well, Uncle. Not Fester.
No, that's me.
I have absolutely no idea. How dare you? How very dare you?
Uncle Henry.
Oh, I do remember hearing that.
Right?
Okay.
The second that you hear it, it comes back to you.
The audacity. Yes.
Okay. How many of you guys actually knew that? Did anybody shout out the answer?
Don't lie. Don't lie.
Come on, there are receipts. We will go back and I read every comment at the end of the show. Alright guys, so you guys can try and play along with this one. This one, for me, is a little bit easier than that because I did not know that.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not remember that. And then once I heard it, I felt stupid.
Right.
This I did know.
Okay.
So, and I feel like you should know this. We talk about it pretty frequently.
So setting me up for more failure. Got it.
Okay.
Lovely.
What is Nathan Lane's breakthrough movie?
His
role?
breakthrough movie role?
Don't you dare! Don't you delete that?
Is it the birdcage?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, so the executive producer cheated a little bit and started to type the
No,
answer.
he didn't. He just perked up, so I was like, oh wait, I know this one.
Okay.
Is this supposed to look like a pudding?
That is exact. You are doing absolutely perfect.
Oh, look at that.
Okay,
Yes.
so now for a lot of other sauces, once you finish with the milk is when you would put in salt or pepper. We're not doing that because we're doing a cheese sauce. So cheese is super salty, so you don't want to add too much salt. And then for the pepper, we're going to be adding a little bit of hot sauce, so you don't want to add any pepper.
Okay.
So this is a very plain sauce to start, and then it's going to be delicious. Plus, pretzels are super salty, so you don't want too much salt. I don't know
Right.
about you, but
This looks so good. Look at me being all domesticated and
Right?
stuff. Yeah.
okay,
Is this good? Can
that
I
is
pull off the
absolutely
heat?
perfect. Nope,
Oh.
you're gonna grab that cheese.
Oh, right.
So,
Cheese sauce. Cheese,
so
yeah.
far she has a quarter cup of butter, a
Mhm.
quarter cup of milk. She had a quarter cup of butter, a
Mhm.
quarter cup of flour, and 2 cups of milk.
Am I gonna fold in the cheese?
You're gonna fold, and you beat
Oh,
me to it.
yes! Come on, Schitt's Creek.
Okay, so not all of it.
Well,
We're gonna do a handful.
I know.
So what you're gonna do now is you have 2 cups of sharp cheddar, and you are going to fold it in, and you don't have to wait for it to completely melt. I'm gonna just turn this guy down.
Okay.
All right. So since we're on the topic, because now I'm obsessed.
David, how do I fold in the cheese? It says fold in the cheese, David. How do I?
I'm being paged by my assistant.
Oh, got it.
Alexa, turn off the timer.
I think you did it. I just keep going with the cheese, right?
Keep on going. Alexa, set a timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes, starting now.
Okay, so my favorite character on Schitt's Creek is Moira because I've never.
Because you
related
are
to-
Moira.
I've
but-
never related to anybody more in my entire life.
And I've never related to anybody more than Alexis.
Okay, yes. I know everybody has seen this, and what characters do you think you relate to the most? You can mix and match too, like a little bit of this one, a little bit of that one.
Right.
You don't have to change anything about Moira. Like, I am 100% that woman. Okay. Before we...
Oh, I forgot we were still doing this. I thought I got out of it.
Wait, hold on. So, who do you think the rest of our housemates are in Schitt's Creek?
Well, I would say Greg is definitely more of a Johnny.
I can see that.
So is your husband.
I see him more as,
Don't say David.
oh no, Johnny Rose, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna
Johnny,
say.
100%.
Nick is 100% David.
110% David. I think Kristen is, I forget her name, the girl at the desk.
Stevie?
Stevie, yes. Oh my god, we've got like the full cast here. Okay, so you're not getting out of this.
No, I'm just tired. Folding in cheese is actually difficult.
You can do another handful on top of that.
You gotta tell me twice.
Okay.
As I make a whole mess.
My favorite movie, my second favorite movie of all time.
Burlesque.
No.
Okay, well, I was
Tu
close.
Wong Fu.
Oh, I do love that movie.
Okay. My first favorite movie is Beetlejuice.
You're studying off people's Alexas, girl. See what you're doing?
A very close second is Tu Wong Fu.
Uh-huh.
Who is Tu Wong Fu? Who is Wong Fu?
Isn't it Julie Newmar?
No, honey. Julie Newmar is Julie Newmar.
I know, but there's an actual
So the name of the movie...
I'm confused.
See,
I never understood
the name of the movie is like a letter. It's Tu Wong Fu,
Uh-huh.
comma, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
Oh, isn't it the restaurant that they go to in the beginning? No, wait, I'm thinking of a different movie. Help me. No, I am
very
right.
close.
It's
Like, I am shocked that you know this.
Isn't
Like, this
it,
is a very obscure reference.
right? I'm trying to remember the movie. Isn't it? It's not the waiter. Is it the owner of the restaurant that they go to?
You're
No.
so... I'm going to give you a point for this. Okay, so Wong Fu, or Fui as he was known by the people who went to the restaurant,
Uh-huh.
was the head bartender.
Oh, okay. I'm close enough.
And,
I am folding the cheese.
okay, so the China Bowl was actually a restaurant in the city on West 44th Street.
Mhm.
It closed in 1993, so sadly I'm far too young to have been there.
Mm-hmm. It was actually closed the year that I was born. So I never went.
Disgusting.
It is not.
I am 25. I've been 25 for nearly a decade. It's a good number to stick with. And when people start giving me side eye when I say I'm 25, I'll be 30. But for now, I'm going to stick with 25. Okay, so now, is all that cheese in there?
Almost.
Okay, so before you do that last handful, perfect timing, I want you to get that hot sauce, and I want you to pour that in.
Okay.
So you want to do this before you put the last handful of cheese in, because you want it to mix in, and you don't want to have spots that are like super spicy, especially when you live in a house where people are babies when it comes to spices.
I don't know who you're talking about because it's not me. I love spice.
I'm not talking about you.
Okay.
Not far. Keely, listen, girl. Don't go around throwing numbers that you don't want thrown back at you, okay? Right?
19 is a great number.
19, I can't even remember being 19.
Really? Because it was only like, what, 6 years ago for you?
See, and this is why she's my best friend. Okay, so what I'm going to do at this point...
I can put in the cheese now, right?
Excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat.
I'm just going to put it in.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay.
Because the sauce itself is hot enough, I'm going to turn it off and you can fold in the rest of the cheese in it.
Oh, you did the flame. I thought I did something because I saw it flare up and I
Her
got
powers are growing. She can't even control herself. Alright, I'm going to check on the
Well, they
pretzels.
do say when the old supreme fades, the new one rises or something like that.
Okay, I am only 25. I am not fading. Okay, so the pretzels are about to come out of the oven. So what you're going to do is you're going to take half a stick of butter and you are going to put it in the microwave for about a minute until it's completely melted. The second you start to hear it pop is when you are going to take it out of the microwave. And I'm going to grab that and my salt. So here I have super coarse salt. It's Morton's, the blue bottle.
Morton's, yeah.
Right? Alexa, turn off the timer.
Thanks, girl.
My internal clock is on point. Okay? On point. Alright, so I've got half a stick of butter completely melted. I've got coarse salt, and a lot of people don't necessarily have this. I'm gonna pull this closer.
Oh, I can do that now? Oh my god, I'm like breaking my neck over here.
A lot of people don't buy this because they think it's unnecessary. This is what I cook with. I leave it in a bowl, and I always go into it, and that's how I like sprinkle out salt into when I'm cooking. My hands are always washed, so I don't have to worry about it. But also, salt kills bacteria. I might be making that up, but
if all the cheese is folded, can I stop folding?
Yep, you're done.
Who needs a gym when I just cook with you every night?
She's been done for a while.
So rude. But those look delicious.
So, this is what our pretzels look like now. That is so hot. 550 degrees is very warm. Okay, so while they are still piping hot, you are going to use your kitchen tongs. And
what other tongs do you have?
I have grill tongs.
Fair.
They're just really big and cumbersome. SAT word. Do your homework, kids. Okay, so while they're still piping hot, as soon as they come out of the oven, I'm going to take 2 at a time. I'm going to drop them into the butter.
Okay.
Smash them down a little bit.
Right.
And I'm going to flip them over. And I'm going to do 2 at a time because that's a good timing for adding the salt. So I'm going to get the next 2 dipped in the butter. And then when I pull these guys out, I'm going to salt the... Ooh, that was a hard O in my salt. I'm going to salt the first ones. And be liberal with the salt because a lot of it is going to fall off. It's going to bounce off. What?
Oh, I see it. Aaron thinks you look like Jessica Simpson with nothing but a t-shirt on.
Yes. Oh my god, I'm not mad.
Now, is this tuna what I have, or is this chicken?
Can I tell you that I was in high school.
What? When did that happen to you?
Oh my goodness gracious! Look how beautiful these are. Okay, so like I said, 2 at a time is the perfect amount of time for the the butter to melt off a little bit and give you like that perfect layer on the pretzel.
Right.
And then you salt them.
That's pretty.
Right? Are you talking about me or the pretzels?
The pretzels, honey. The pretzels. But I mean, also, you are pretty.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, I am so excited to have our first episode. Do you want to sprinkle?
Sure.
Our first episode where you can watch what we are making from start to finish.
Oh, I love that.
Right? Isn't that super cute? Okay. So I
like
have a little bowl. Let's switch spots.
Okay.
I have a little bowl here, and I'm going to scoop some of this cheese sauce.
My perfectly folded cheese sauce.
This is absolutely perfect. You
heard
don't
that?
even want to know. The first time I made this, it looked like cottage cheese.
Oh, so I did it.
Going back to what I was saying just a little while ago, I was in high school when that happened.
Mm-hmm. Sure, girl.
Anyway,
Right.
just a few years ago.
Uh-huh.
All right, I'm gonna move this so we don't get hurt.
Okay.
Safety first.
Right.
I'm gonna pull out these beautiful pre-done ones because we can touch these.
We can. Because these are still hot.
Yeah, so what you want to do is you want to let these sit for at least 20 minutes because they are super, super hot. Like you can feel the steam coming off of them.
Ooh, the steam heat.
But I know we haven't done this before, but do you want to taste one? Because I'm really dying
Oh, I
to
absolutely
try.
do, girl.
All right, here, let's
flip
one.
one, yeah. 'Cause, you know, we're petite women. We don't eat a full pretzel.
Well, I'm not going to lie. But I am wearing a corset, so that's a good enough reason not to eat a full pretzel.
I'm just gonna...
Is it good?
Oh my god.
Doesn't it taste exactly like the ball pretzel?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference.
I'm shocked.
She was like all dainty and delicate of dipping the pretzel, and like, I want the cheese!
No, that tastes exactly like a mall pretzel. I no longer have any reason to go to the mall.
And we literally did this in 30 minutes. Right?
Really good.
Alright, guys. Thank you again for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
She's chewing. I'll do her sign off.
I
This is Sienna Rose. You can find her at Sienna Rose Official on Instagram and Venmo.
Ding. You gotta do the ding.
Ding.
Thank you.
My name is Anita Manager. You can find me at Mrs. Anita Manager on Instagram. I am on Facebook with you now, so you don't need to know where I'm there. And my Venmo is Anita_Manager. And one more time, all of the proceeds from Venmo do go to the proceeds for the show. So it's all the flour and all the cooking and baking and drinks that we're making together. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of Sip and Simmer. I'm Anita Manager, and
I'm Sienna Rose.
you're amazing.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you're talking to them. Oh, I see. Wow. Okay.
I am so obsessed with these.
These are so good.
Oh.
Get out of here. No, we made it break.